Greetings to all, take pleasure in these soothing moments as you observe. A 9-year-old girl is pregnant, and just before the birth, doctors uncover something alarming. Maya, a small girl measuring only 1.15 meters, with a delicate frame and a youthful visage that suggested she was hardly 9, found herself in a dire situation. She donned a plain white dress, her large, expressive eyes brimming with trepidation and sorrow. Her abdomen was rounded and noticeable, contrasting sharply with her petite figure. Next to her stood Paul, a 37-year-old man whose face was etched with concern and strain. He dashed into the hospital, the girl cradled in his arms, his voice filled with urgency as he called out for help. "Doctor, I implore you, save her." Paul's voice resonated through the hospital corridor, capturing the attention of all around. The nurses stood still, their eyes wide with disbelief, as patients and their companions gazed on with a mix of shock and worry. A nurse inquired, maintaining her composure as she moved closer to the pair. Upon witnessing Maya's condition, she endeavored to maintain her professionalism, yet a wave of anger surged within her, impossible to suppress. "The girl is in labor," Paul shouted, his voice cracking with urgency. "We kindly request assistance." The nurse immediately activated the intercom. "A stretcher is required at the main entrance without delay." As the stretcher was awaited, the nurse endeavored to soothe Maya, who was on the brink of losing consciousness due to the agony. "Hold on, dear one, we're here to assist you," she said softly, yet within her, a growing storm of anger and confusion brewed. How could someone so young find themselves in this predicament? As the stretcher rolled in, they carefully lifted Maya onto it and swiftly transported her into the emergency room. Paul attempted to pursue, yet another nurse intervened. "I'm sorry, sir, but you'll need to wait here," she stated with a blend of firmness and understanding. "We will look after the girl. It is essential for us to uncover the events that transpired." Paul nodded, his expression a blend of torment and hopelessness. She's my responsibility," he murmured, his voice thick with the gravity of the moment. "She can't be left alone." Within the confines of the emergency room, medical professionals labored relentlessly to ensure Maya's stability. The on-call physician, a seasoned professional, had encountered nothing quite like this in all his years of practice. While washing his hands, he reflected on the moment he began his shift, expecting it to be an ordinary day. What sort of beast could commit such an atrocity, he murmured, fury evident in his gaze. In the waiting room, whispers gradually transformed into clear discussions as individuals sought to comprehend the events they had just experienced. The pregnant woman, her face drained of color, exclaimed, "That girl can't be older than 10. And the man accompanying her, another individual remarked with disdain. "He has to be the one accountable. How could anyone commit such a dreadful act? He's definitely some kind of deviant," another person murmured, their tone laced with disdain. "He deserves to be behind bars for his actions." In the thick of escalating tension, Paul found himself in a corner, his head buried in his hands, desperately attempting to drown out the surrounding criticism. He understood that he mustn't allow the opinions of others to affect him. What truly mattered was Maya's well-being. In the operating room, the doctor leaned in towards Maya, offering words of reassurance before she slipped into the depths of anesthesia. With unwavering resolve, he declared, "I will do everything in my power to assist you," as he commenced the procedure. The medical team braced for the unforeseen, with nurses bustling in and out, carrying essential supplies, deliberately avoiding eye contact with the man lingering outside. Their thoughts were consumed by the girl on the operating table, and a question reverberated in their minds: how did this young girl find herself in such a predicament? Time appeared to freeze as the hospital was enveloped in a heavy, anticipatory hush. Outside, the whispers swirled through the air, a blend of indignation and dark fascination, yet at the heart of this sorrow lay a young girl and the medical team striving to save her and her baby. Outside the emergency room, the atmosphere thickened with unease. Paul sat on a chair in the hallway, his head buried in his hands, quietly sobbing as anxiety gnawed at him. Maya was rushed into emergency care to deliver her baby, and the anxiety surrounding her condition gnawed at him. Around him, the murmurs intensified, beginning as gentle whispers and swiftly evolving into distinct, critical dialogues. "That girl can't be older than 10, a woman whispered to her companion, her eyes wide with disbelief. "And the man accompanying her," another individual remarked with disdain. A voice echoed from the far end of the room, urging, "We need to call the police. We cannot simply remain passive and allow this to unfold." A nurse, her demeanor a blend of frustration and professionalism, stepped toward Paul, having been closely watching the unfolding situation. "We must understand precisely what transpired," she asserted with conviction, yet her tone held a touch of empathy. Paul gazed at her, his eyes filled with a sense of urgency and longing. "Maya, she requires assistance, that is the priority at this moment," he replied, his voice thick with feeling. The nurse acknowledged the situation, realizing that extracting further details from him in this condition was unlikely. "We will exhaust all our efforts to support her," she stated, attempting to comfort him. In that moment, an older woman with a furrowed brow and crossed arms could no longer contain her frustration. "This is utterly unacceptable. That man deserves to be imprisoned," she exclaimed, her anger aimed squarely at Paul. "Indeed, allowing someone like him to wander without restraint is unacceptable," another individual concurred, as the chorus of disapproval grew louder. "Please, everyone, calm down," a head nurse intervened, striving to restore a sense of order. "Our priority is to provide dedicated care for our patients in the hospital. However, we cannot overlook the situation unfolding before us," a young woman retorted, casting a disdainful glance at Paul. "How could anyone commit such a dreadful act?" The waiting room buzzed with quiet nods of consensus, as a few individuals pulled out their phones to contact the authorities. The atmosphere thickened with unease, and Paul, sensing the walls closing in, shut his eyes, attempting to shut out the chaos surrounding him. Out of nowhere, a towering, strong man rose from his chair and strode purposefully over to Paul. In silence, he seized Paul by the collar and hoisted him from the chair. "You're a disgrace," the man shouted, his face burning with fury. "How could anyone do this to a child?" Paul, taken aback and filled with dread, lifted his hands as though to yield. "No, wait, you don't understand," he attempted to clarify, his voice quivering. "There's nothing to understand," the man snapped, his grip tightening. "You are a villain, and retribution is coming for you." The chaos was escalating rapidly when a nurse hurried over to step in, attempting to pull the man away from Paul. "Enough. Let him go," she yelled, stepping in front of them. "The authorities have been notified, and they will take care of the situation." The man let go of Paul with a shove, sending him tumbling back into the chair. The nurse swiftly assessed Paul's condition before addressing the irate man. "I recognize your frustration, but we must maintain peace in this space. Allow the proper channels to handle the situation." Paul, panting, settled back into his seat, striving to maintain his composure. He understood that altering others' views was beyond his control at this moment, yet he needed to remain resilient for Maya. Shortly thereafter, 2 police officers made their way into the room, having been alerted by the numerous calls from witnesses. They approached Paul with determined expressions, exuding an air of professionalism. "Sir, we need you to come with us," one of the officers said, gently resting a firm yet reassuring hand on Paul's shoulder. "But Maya, she needs me," Paul struggled to hold back, his voice trembling. The other officer remarked that they would look into the situation at hand. "However, your presence is essential for us to clarify certain details." With a heart weighed down by sorrow and a mind shrouded in concern, Paul rose and trailed behind the officers, as murmurs and critical gazes enveloped him. He understood the necessity of revealing the truth, yet in that instant, his mind was consumed with thoughts of Maya's safety, fervently wishing for the doctors to pull her through. As Paul made his way to the police station, each step felt heavy with the weight of his predicament, reverberating in his thoughts and amplifying the gravity of the moment. The whispers and scornful looks from the crowd struck him like venomous darts, wounding his spirit deeply. Upon their arrival at the police station, Paul was escorted into an interrogation room. The chamber felt frigid and empty, its walls a dull gray, illuminated by the incessant hum of a fluorescent light. The cold metal table and rigid chairs amplified the feeling of solitude and hopelessness. "Take a seat," one of the detectives instructed, gesturing toward the chair before him. Paul acquiesced, sensing the chilling grip of the handcuffs around his wrists. "I'm Detective Sophia," she introduced herself, while the man beside her added, "and this is Detective Gonzalez," as he opened a thick file. "We have been presented with allegations indicating that you may have engaged in a grave offense. We are eager to listen to your perspective on the matter." Paul inhaled deeply. "Maya is not a child," he began, his voice steady yet brimming with emotion. "She is my English teacher, 27 years of age, yet she possesses a unique condition that gives her a much younger appearance. Though she may seem youthful, she is the finest English teacher in the city, possessing a truly kind spirit. Today, as she arrived at my home for our usual English lesson, she began to feel abdominal pain after about an hour and appeared to faint. Fear gripped me, prompting an urgent dash to the hospital with her. She once shared that she had been in a long-term relationship and was preparing for an upcoming marriage. At this point, I'm uncertain about whom to reach out to regarding her family." The two detectives shared a silent look, their faces devoid of emotion. "Do you really expect us to believe that?" one of them questioned, skepticism lacing his tone. "It seems like a handy justification." Paul maintained that this was not a justification. "Simply hold on until she stirs, and she'll share all the details with you directly. I have reviewed her medical diagnosis that verifies her pituitary disorder." The other detective leaned in, his expression serious. "So, why is it that this condition remains unknown to so many, and why is there no one available to support your account? We require more than mere assurances." The investigator crossed his arms. "This scenario appears quite distinct when viewed from our vantage point." Without warning, the door to the interrogation room swung open, revealing a lawyer whose expression radiated determination as they entered. He stated that he is his attorney. "I would like to arrange a private discussion with my client." The detectives hesitantly exited the room, allowing Paul and his lawyer to remain in solitude. Mr. Delgado, the lawyer, took a seat opposite Paul, his expression reflecting both worry and determination. "Paul, I had a conversation with Maya," Mr. Delgado mentioned. "She is in a stable condition and is working to handle the situation. It's important for you to remain calm and have faith that we will provide clarity on everything." "Thank you," Paul murmured, a sense of relief washing over him. "This is a significant misinterpretation." "Indeed," Mr. Delgado responded. "However, we must substantiate that with proof. I am in the process of acquiring Maya's medical records and contacting her physician." Upon the detective's return, Mr. Delgado rose to his feet. "Detectives, my client is entitled to have legal representation. The initial documents provide evidence for Maya's condition." A detective picked up the documents, scrutinizing them intently. "This is merely the start," he declared with conviction. "It is essential to confirm every detail, and in the meantime, Mr. Paul will stay in custody." "This isn't fair," Paul protested, a wave of despair washing over him. "Maya requires my assistance, and I too find myself affected by this circumstance." "I see," the detective remarked, his voice laced with doubt. "However, until we can confirm all details, it is essential to move forward with care." The hours that followed were filled with a palpable tension, a blend of uncertainty and the heavy weight of anticipation. Paul found himself in a holding cell, where time felt suspended, his mind a tempest of memories, each one a bittersweet reminder of the joyful moments shared with Maya and the harsh truth of their current situation. At the hospital, Maya, a young woman with an innocent look yet a noticeable belly, was swiftly ushered into the delivery room. The scene was so extraordinary that those gathered couldn't resist murmuring to one another, brimming with awe and unease. Dr. Guadalupe, the chief physician that evening, hurried toward the delivery room, his mind racing with a flurry of thoughts. How could this happen? He pondered over it time and again. Throughout his career, he had encountered numerous unusual cases, yet this one was completely unprecedented. "Prepare for an emergency C-section," Dr. Guadalupe commanded the moment he stepped into the delivery room. The nurses and assistants hurriedly arranged the surgical instruments, making certain that Maya was prepared for the procedure. Maya reclined on the stretcher, her eyelids sealed shut and her complexion drained, reflecting both agony and fatigue. Despite her delicate appearance, her body exhibited every indication of a woman in the throes of labor. The nurse broke the tense silence, reporting, "Doctor, her vital signs are stable." Dr. Guadalupe acknowledged with a nod, slipping on his surgical gloves. "Absolutely, let's get started." As he initiated the first incision, Dr. Guadalupe found himself drawn to specific details. Maya's internal organs were fully developed and in impeccable condition. Her uterus and ovaries appeared akin to those of a mature woman, rather than those of a young girl. "Incredible," he whispered, yet his comment caught the attention of the entire team. "What seems to be the issue, doctor?" inquired head nurse Martina, her tone laced with both intrigue and worry. Dr. Guadalupe turned to her, his gaze brimming with disbelief. "The organs of this young woman are completely typical for someone in her 20s. There are no indications that she ought to present herself in such a manner." The group persisted in their quiet efforts, absorbing the details while they aided in the delivery. After a few tense minutes, the resounding, unmistakable cry of a newborn echoed through the room, bringing a surge of relief to all those gathered. "It's a boy," Dr. Guadalupe declared, lifting the newborn from Maya's gaze before the nurses whisked him away for cleaning and examination. Once the baby was stable, Dr. Guadalupe turned her attention back to Maya, meticulously finishing the surgery to prevent any complications. After Maya was moved to the recovery room, Dr. Guadalupe took off his gloves and mask, his mind still occupied with thoughts. "We must delve deeper into this," he declared to the team. "There seems to be a discrepancy with our understanding." After some time, Maya started to come to, gradually lifting her eyelids and squinting at the glaring light surrounding her. Next to her, a nurse cradled her son, swathed in a gentle blanket. "Maya," the nurse said with a comforting smile, "your son is healthy and strong. Would you care to hold him?" Maya nodded faintly, her eyes brimming with tears as she held the baby close to her chest. Thank you," she murmured, her voice trembling with feeling. The nurse observed the scene with warmth before moving on. "Maya, we must discuss your situation with you. There are certain matters that Dr. Guadalupe must grasp." Maya acknowledged the inevitability of this moment arriving. "I understand, I'm prepared to clarify." Dr. Guadalupe stepped in, his expression still bearing the weight of the circumstances. He made his way to Maya's bedside and settled into a chair close by. "Maya, your internal organs have matured to the level of an adult woman," he started, selecting his words with care. "Nonetheless, you still present as youthful. Could you assist us in grasping how this is achievable?" Maya nodded, cradling the infant in her embrace. "Text, I have a rare condition called pituitary dwarfism," she explained, her voice a gentle yet firm whisper. "It impacts my pituitary gland, hindering my body from developing and maturing externally, while internally, I am a fully grown woman." Dr. Guadalupe nodded thoughtfully, absorbing the details presented. "This clarifies many points, yet it is essential that we record all details with precision. We will need to reach out to your former physicians and collect all available medical documentation." Maya gazed at the infant before turning her attention back to the physician. "I comprehend. I will exert every effort to assist." At that moment, a nurse stepped into the room, her expression filled with concern. "Dr. Guadalupe, there's an important matter that requires your attention. Paul, the individual who transported Maya to the emergency room, has been taken into custody by the police. He is facing charges for a grave offense." Maya sensed that everything she knew was crumbling away. "No, this is a mistake," she exclaimed, her voice brimming with despair. "Paul is my student, he has done nothing wrong and has been a great help to me." Dr. Guadalupe rose to his feet, a solemn expression overtaking his features. I will contact the authorities right away. This situation requires immediate clarification. The ensuing hours were filled with a blend of unease and anticipation. Maya underwent interviews with multiple nurses and doctors who aimed to collect all the essential information. In the meantime, Dr. Guadalupe contacted Maya's former physicians to obtain her medical records. At last, Dr. Guadalupe convened with Police Captain Miguel in a secluded room within the hospital. "Captain, I must discuss Paul with you," he began, his tone serious and pressing. The captain responded, his face devoid of emotion, "I'm listening, doctor." "Paul is innocent of any wrongdoing." Dr. Guadalupe explained that Maya, the English teacher, has a rare medical condition impacting her physical development, as she handed the captain a file with the medical documentation. These documents provide undeniable evidence. The captain scrutinized the documents with great care, a gentle expression emerging as he absorbed the words on the page. "I comprehend, doctor. This is quite uncommon, yet we will strive to elucidate the circumstances." In the recovery room, Maya clutched her child close, her heart filled with hope that all would soon be well. At last, the door swung open, and Dr. Guadalupe stepped in, a look of relief washing over their face. "Maya, I have wonderful news," he said softly. "Captain Miguel has examined the documents, and they have consented to release Paul as we proceed with the investigation. All will be well." Maya let out a breath of relief, tears cascading down her cheeks. "I appreciate your help, doctor. Thank you for all that you've done." At that moment, 2 officers escorted Paul back into the room. His expression revealed unmistakable tension, yet it transformed into a warm glow upon catching sight of Maya and her little one. "Maya," he murmured, drawing closer to the bed. "Are you doing all right?" Maya gazed upward, her eyes brimming with appreciation. "Paul, I will be fine. I truly appreciate your help in rescuing me." That evening, Maya opened up to Paul. "Paul, have you observed that my enthusiasm for teaching English seems to have waned recently? I sincerely regret that, particularly because you mentioned the urgency of improving your English for your job." Paul offered a warm smile as he responded. "I simply thought it was due to your fatigue from the pregnancy." "I comprehend." "No, it wasn't the pregnancy that was making me tired," Maya explained, her voice quivering with emotion. "I felt utterly drained by the recent events. The man I had cherished for so long, the one I envisioned a joyful marriage with, abandoned me and our child." Maya felt the warm tears streaming down her cheeks. Paul stood in stunned silence. "My unconventional appearance led to my family never accepting me. They perceived me as a mere child, and ultimately, he chose not to support me. He ended our relationship and severed all ties without even inquiring about his child," Maya continued. "Maya, I had no idea you experienced something so awful," Paul said earnestly. "In my eyes, you've always seemed perfectly ordinary. I perceived nothing but a talented, beautiful, and exceptionally compassionate young woman. I've discovered much about you, and you are cherished and respected by countless individuals." Paul paused for a moment, then pressed on. "Maya, would you allow me the opportunity to look after you and your child? The reality is, I've had feelings for you for quite a while, but I was aware of your engagement, so I held back my emotions." Thus, Maya and Paul quickly found themselves as a couple. Upon finalizing the discharge procedures, Dr. Guadalupe and his team diligently recorded Maya's case, committed to providing her and her baby with the highest standard of care. Maya's case stands out as one of the most unforgettable moments in Dr. Guadalupe's professional journey. Even after welcoming a healthy baby boy, her small and fragile frame, influenced by her height and distinct medical condition, necessitated a longer stay in the hospital for proper care. The story of her situation circulated rapidly within the hospital, igniting a blend of intrigue and profound compassion among the staff and fellow patients. Each day, Paul remained by Maya's side, nurturing her and the baby with a devotion that moved all those who witnessed it. The nurses, experienced as they were in various circumstances, couldn't shake off a twinge of envy as they observed the affection and love Paul displayed for his girlfriend. "Today, we have oatmeal, orange juice, and some fresh fruit," Nurse Sophia said, her smile radiating warmth as she set the food tray on the table beside Maya's bed. "Thank you, Nurse Sophia," Maya responded, attempting to sit up, her voice soft yet brimming with appreciation. "Everyone here has been so kind to me." The nurse nodded, carefully repositioning the pillow behind Maya to enhance her comfort. "It's the least we can offer. Your situation holds great significance for all of us." At that moment, Paul stepped into the room, cradling baby Bambi in his arms. His expression brightened upon seeing Maya, and he bent down to place a gentle kiss on her forehead. "Good morning, my love," Paul said with warmth. "Bambi and I came to see you." Maya beamed, her eyes sparkling with affection and appreciation. "Good morning, Paul. How is our little one?" "He's healthy," Paul replied, cradling the baby with care. "Strong and well, thanks to you." Nurse Sophia watched the moment unfold with a warm smile. "Paul, you are an exceptional father. It's rare to witness such dedication and affection." "Thank you, Nurse Sophia," Paul remarked, gazing at Maya with deep affection. "For my family, I would go to any lengths." In the days that ensued, the bond between Paul and Maya captured the attention of fellow patients and hospital staff alike. Their affection and commitment to one another sparked admiration and became a common subject of discussion. One afternoon, as Paul assisted Maya in her efforts to walk around the hallway and build her strength, an elderly patient, Mrs. Anna, made her way toward them. "Excuse me," she said with a warm smile. "I just wanted to express how much you both have inspired me. The affection and devotion you share is genuinely heartwarming. We appreciate you taking the time to watch the video in its entirety. Your support inspires us to continue our creative journey. We'd love to hear where you're tuning in from to gauge the global reach of this video. If you found it engaging, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends." "Thank you, Mrs. Anna," Maya said, resting against Paul's arm. "We've faced many challenges side by side, and our gratitude for one another runs deep." Mrs. Anna nodded, her eyes reflecting a profound understanding. "That truly is what matters most. Love and family hold an unparalleled value in life." As time went on, Maya slowly began to heal, though her situation still demanded ongoing attention. Every day, Paul took it upon himself to ensure her comfort, bringing in fresh flowers, reading her beloved books, and making certain she had all she required. One afternoon, after assisting Maya in sitting up following a brief walk, a younger nurse named Miss Louise approached with a timid smile. "Excuse me," she said, a touch nervously. "I just wanted to mention that we all speak highly of you, Paul. The way you nurture Maya and your son is genuinely uplifting." Paul smiled softly, giving Maya's hand a gentle squeeze. "Thank you, Miss Louise. I'm simply fulfilling the role any devoted partner would embrace for the one they cherish." Maya gazed at Paul, her eyes brimming with joyful and appreciative tears. "You are truly remarkable, Paul. I can't imagine my life without you." Miss Louise nodded, visibly touched. "You both are truly an extraordinary pair. I wish for both of you to heal quickly and relish life together once more. Your bond has not only moved the nurses but has also captivated the medical team." Dr. Guadalupe, who has been attentively overseeing Maya's recovery, frequently paused to engage in conversation with you. "Paul, Maya," Dr. Guadalupe remarked one afternoon while examining Maya's file. "I must say, I am genuinely impressed by how you both have navigated this situation. Your commitment and affection are truly commendable." "Thank you, Doctor," Paul said, with Maya nodding in agreement. "We are truly grateful for everything everyone here has done for us." Dr. Guadalupe smiled as he closed the file. "It is a privilege to assist a resilient and close-knit family such as yours. Maya, your healing journey is moving forward positively. With a little more patience and attention, you'll be home before you know it." The doctor's words washed over Maya and Paul like a soothing balm, infusing them with relief and a flicker of hope. They understood that the journey to complete recovery lay ahead, yet they approached each day with steadfast resolve, buoyed by the unwavering support of their loved ones. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the sky in warm hues of orange and pink, Maya reclined on the bed, with Paul and baby Bambi nestled beside her. A profound tranquility enveloped her, accompanied by an overwhelming sense of gratitude for the life and love she experienced with her family. "Maya," Paul murmured, tenderly caressing her hair. "I love you more than anything in the world. Nothing can alter that." "And I love you too, Paul," Maya responded, her eyes filled with deep emotion. "I am incredibly grateful for you, for everything." Enveloped in the embrace of caring family and attentive hospital staff, Maya and Paul understood that despite the hurdles ahead, their bond would remain unbreakable. Their love, fortified through adversity, served as the beacon that anchored them and illuminated the path to a promising tomorrow. After several weeks in the hospital, the moment arrived for Maya, Paul, and their cherished Bambi to return home. The sun radiated in the sky, heralding a new chapter for this young family. Paul carefully maneuvered Maya's wheelchair while she cradled Bambi in her arms, his cherubic cheeks and sparkling eyes absorbing the world around him with innocent wonder. "We're ready to head home, Maya," Paul said, his smile warm as he assisted his wife in rising from the wheelchair. "Everything will be all right." "Yes, Paul, I'm ready," Maya replied, her heart fluttering with a blend of excitement and relief. She could hardly contain her anticipation for this new chapter with their family. As they emerged from the hospital, a throng of reporters and photographers surrounded them. The air was filled with the incessant flicker of camera flashes, documenting each second as the family navigated toward the exit. "Maya, Paul, how does it feel to be going home?" one reporter called out. "We feel incredibly lucky and grateful," Paul replied, gently squeezing Maya's hand. "The love and support we've received has given us the strength to overcome it all." Another reporter, holding the microphone toward her, asked, "Maya, tell us about your experience in the hospital." Maya beamed, her eyes shimmering with appreciation. "The journey had its hurdles, yet we were supported by an incredible medical team and my amazing boyfriend standing beside me. I am deeply grateful for all the love and care that has surrounded us." As they progressed, the inquiries from reporters persisted, yet Paul and Maya maintained their composure and gratitude, fully cognizant that their narrative had resonated with numerous individuals. Upon returning home, the family started to adapt to their new life as a unit. Time flew by, and Bambi thrived, growing healthy and robust, nurtured by the unwavering affection of his parents. Paul and Maya's journey resonated with countless hearts, serving as a testament to the power of love to triumph over challenges. 6 years later, on a serene summer afternoon, they found themselves on their porch, observing Bambi frolic in the garden. The setting sun enveloped the scene in a soft golden glow, while the joyful sounds of their son filled the air. "Look at our little one," Paul said with a smile, his eyes brimming with pride and affection. "I think Bambi might want a little sibling to play with." "I've been thinking the same thing," Maya replied, feeling touched. "Being with you has been incredible, having someone who genuinely loves me and our child, regardless of my unique appearance. A person like you is truly rare, and I feel so fortunate," Maya said, gripping Paul's hand firmly. "I love you." Paul nodded, gently squeezing Maya's hand in return. They had endured so much together, yet every moment felt meaningful. His gratitude for her and Bambi was immense. "And I'm so thankful for you, Paul," Maya said, her eyes shining with joyful tears. "Your love and support give me strength. I can't imagine my life without you." "I'll always be here for you, Maya," Paul said, leaning down to kiss her gently. "No matter what the future holds, I know we can get through anything together." Just then, Bambi came running toward them, his face lit up with a playful grin. "Mom, Dad, check this out!" he exclaimed, proudly displaying a tiny bug in his palm. Maya and Paul chuckled, relishing the unfiltered happiness radiating from their son. "That's fantastic, Bambi," Paul said, playfully tousling his son's hair. "What a remarkable little adventurer you are." As the sun dipped below the horizon, the family gathered on the porch, relishing the tranquility and joy of their togetherness. Paul and Maya's journey stood as a tribute to their enduring love and strength, serving as a beacon of inspiration for all who had the privilege of knowing them. Amidst the warmth of their son's love and the steadfast support they offered one another, Paul and Maya gazed toward the future with optimism and assurance, fully aware that united, they could tackle any obstacle and savor every precious moment of their shared journey. If this tale resonated with you, we encourage you to show your appreciation by liking and subscribing to our channel. Your encouragement inspires us to continue sharing uplifting stories nearly every day. Your support means the world to us. Looking forward to seeing you soon.